Sorry about that. Just some technical issues there. Just remember, we are coming to you live from the African bush, right in the heart of Africa. So it's quite amazing in the first place that we do have an internet connection out here, but it does drop every now and then. So just bear with us. But we're back online. I know no one's online yet, but we'll just wait for you guys to find the link and get online. In the meanwhile, we'll see who comes down to drink.
There's some more baboon coming down to drink. Is it not the same one?
No, different one.
You see, this one's also very light in color, the baby, huh?
Dark on the head, though.
Yeah.
And then the baby that's next to the mother is a few months older than the one on the back of the mom.
I think the one with the one we saw early on was not quite right.
No,
something wrong with it.
Malnourished.
No, you can see the little baby. You can see the little baby going down to drink.
That's fantastic. Wants a bit of water quickly. No,
mommy.
Yeah. Knows where the safe spot is. So baboons are very wary. I mean, their top predator in the area would be leopard. Baby baboons or even smaller baboons could easily be grabbed by an eagle, like a martial eagle or one of the bigger species bird of prey. So these babies have to stay close with their mom all the time. If they wander away too far, you never know when a bird of prey could quickly swoop down and grab one. There's actually quite a few baboons now hanging out with the impalas. And we got this
guys yesterday. I don't know if anybody was watching yesterday, but
this guy's king of the castle here.
He is.
Thinks he owns this watering hole, just keeping a good watch over everyone.
There's a baby climbing. The expression on his face is priceless. It really is. You know?
So baboons give us quite a good warning system, an alarm system. They've got a very powerful barking call that they do if they see a leopard or a lion. And more often than not, it always alerts us when one of the predators are coming down to the watering hole to have a drink. So these guys are also known to fight quite a lot with each other, and they can also do that barking call. But over time, you learn which is a serious one for a predator or which one's just a bit of an argument.
Sorry you're missing the party, Craig, but I'm sure this is much better, much better.
Late to the party, I see. Craig, it's good that you just came online. We did do a session before this for about 40 or so minutes. Our internet just dropped out momentarily, but we're back online now. Hopefully everyone finds the new link and gets on. But anyone watching, you're welcome to share the new link and let people know that we're still going.
I'm not sure what he's doing, this guy. He's just sort of, you know.
Really human-like the way he's sitting, just relaxing there.
I don't know, Craig. I've never seen you relaxing on a branch like that before.
Always working.
It's always working, okay. Earlier on, just below the baboon was an impala with one horn. Why do you think that was, Craig? I mean, what sort of reason could it be that the impala would lose its horn?
More likely than not, just fighting between males. So often these the male impalas have to establish their dominance between themselves, especially during the rutting season. They're trying to show off to each other, show off to the ladies who's in charge. And it can happen quite easy that they just hit each other at an incorrect angle and a horn can break off. And unfortunately,
there we are. We just saw a
sneaking
quick
away
fleeting
there.
picture of it, yeah.
Unfortunately, once that horn is gone, that's it for life. So very different to your deer species that you get in North America and Europe, where they grow antlers. So antlers are something that are grown and shed annually, as well as can end in multiple points. But African animals have horns, and horns are something that is grown from the day they're born until the day that they die. They never stop growing, and horns will always end in a single point. So that's one of the main differences between antelopes and deers. Although they look very similar and they do have common ancestors, they're also quite different.
Craig, you were telling us about the guinea fowl and the way they drink yesterday, which is rather interesting. Maybe there's some guys on now that didn't hear you yesterday.
If we have a look here, see that what they're trying to do is actually lower their jaw, the lower beak, as deep as what they can in the water. And they can't suck like what humans do. So you'll see that they move the beak open and closed to try and draw water in, and then quickly pick up their head and tilt it back. That's quite a quick motion that they do. So they can only take one little sip at a time. So they can't suck like as a human would do through a straw to drink water. So they actually have to lower the whole lower jaw into the water to try and get a good mouthful. But just the coloration of these birds is great. So the red and blue heads are well known, and I think their feathers are quite iconic around the world when it comes to different patterns and different designs. You can easily pick out a guinea fowl feather. Lovely detail there.
A nice dark blue sort of flap on his neck.
Yeah, a little bit of almost a dewlap or something. Lovely. Not the most intelligent bird around, I will say. They're quite well known for running in the middle of the road while we're trying to drive around, and they don't get out of the way. But there's a lot of them around.
That bird call you can hear is the white-fronted beater, which is right above us. Hi, Christine. How are you? I'm glad you're enjoying it. Now, the guinea fowl are so common here that we actually lose sight of how pretty and good-looking they are. Porter, I'll leave that to Craig. I'm sure he will expound on that.
Quite an interesting question coming in, asking about the dynamics about a baboon troop. So baboons are quite interesting. It's like a oligarchy system where basically all the males are trying to be in charge at the same time. One will be more dominant than the other, but they all work together to try and run the troop. So think of like a parliamentary system where you'd have a president and then all the ministers below the president. It's that similar sort of dynamic that they adopt. But they're always fighting amongst themselves for dominance and for the top spot. So all the males work together to try and run the troop, but there is definitely a dominance on a hierarchy between males. So multiple males can mate within the troop. It doesn't all come down to whoever's in charge. So there is a good spread of genetics within the troop. But there's always in-house fighting, always trying to get the top spot. And if all the other males don't like a certain individual, they'll actually gang up on that one individual and chase him out of the troop. And once he's been ostracized and chased out the group, that's it. He'll unfortunately live the rest of his life all alone. He won't be allowed to rejoin the troop, and there will be no other baboon troop that will actually accept him. So although there is a lot of fighting, the baboons also need to watch their step with each other and make sure they don't push each other too far. Otherwise, they might get kicked out the troop altogether.
Greg, how do we advertise these live sessions?
Advertising, we do Facebook posts. So every single day on Facebook, you will see us putting up videos and photos and so on. You can search Shenton Safaris on Facebook. That's a great way to stay in touch with us. And on there, we'll always post when the live sessions are going to be, as well as as soon as we go live, we also put a link onto the live session so that you can click through on that link and come straight through.
On Facebook?
On Facebook, as well as on our Instagram accounts, through our stories and so on. We'll also put up links and in our bio. If you're not on social media, you can try subscribing to our YouTube channel and try and stay up to date that way. We'll see in the future if there's a way that we can contact our subscribers through YouTube to try and let them know. Otherwise, the best way to stay in touch would be through Facebook.
Or to visit us would be even better.
Or to visit us, yeah. Come sit with us in the hide while we do a live session. So to find out more about Shenton Safaris, you can check the website at shentonsafaris.com. And you can read all of our blogs that we put up and also links to a lot of our videos and pictures. You just joined on Facebook. That's brilliant, Claire. So on there, you'll see there's posts going up every day. And you can follow us and see what we're getting up to here in the valley.
Sadly, we've only got a few weeks left before our season finishes. So I think our last client or guest will be on around about the end of October, 4th of November. We have to pack up camp and go home. It's going to be quite sad. This place is impossible to visit during the rains unless you come up by boat. So it's just a non-starter, sadly. So our season will be from the end of May to the end of October. We've been here just over an hour. We've had a nice group of elephants to visit us, pollers, a very white or pale-looking baboon, maybe,
We've got
and
two
guinea
hippos.
fowls, 2 hippos, and of course there's a lot of bird sounds around us which we can't show you the birds, but we hear them all the time.
So Adrian, the webcams, unfortunately we will take down the webcams when we close up the camp. You need to know that where the webcams are located at the moment and where we are, all that area goes completely underwater. Basically, these rivers come down and flood. So there wouldn't be anything to show you on the webcam, as well as once the water all arrives, the animals disperse. They don't need to be drawn to specific water sources. So whether or not you would see any animals on these webcams is hard to say. So the webcams will also come down when we pack up the camp. We'll be removing them, and you unfortunately have to wait 6 more months, and we'll put them up as soon as we can next year, May, beginning of June. The cameras.
And we normally start with our hippo hide
Yeah.
camp first, and a little bit later on to the last waterhole. But you can imagine the logistics in setting this up so far away from anywhere.
Yeah, especially here at the bush camp, or even at Hippo Hide, it's quite interesting. You know, we're one of the last original bush camps within Zambia. This camp will get completely reconstructed and deconstructed every year finish. So it's not a permanent camp. So a lot of time and effort in by the staff members, making sure that the camp is built every year, getting ready for the guests to arrive. And yeah, we take it from there. Kaingo is a bit more of a solid structure camp, but also a lot of work needed in preparing the camp every year. I see earlier we had our one-horned impala. He's come back into view. Maybe we can catch him.
Craig, well, I've been in Zambia many years. The landscape really hasn't changed that much sort of the last 30, 40 years. The seasons, yeah, I would probably drier than previously, you would say. The whole of Zambia is a bit like that. Whether that's due to climate change or something else, I'm not sure of. But definitely we are drier than we have been over the last 40 years.
Jeanette, I see you've asked a question there about can disabled people visit us. I think at the main camp would be a bit easier. But the best thing to do is to get in touch with our reservations department, and we'll be able to answer all those type of questions, see what disabilities our guests can have and how we can suit those needs. So we'll definitely try our best, but if you get in touch with us, will be a great way for us to find out exactly what we'll be able to help with. So that email address would be info@kaingo.com. Kaingo is spelled KAINGO.com. And
is that your honeycard again? No.
No, that is not Wattled Starling.
This is
Yeah, I think we got a Wattled Starling. Yeah.
We have a Waterhole starling, which is unusual. Well, it sort of comes in this time of the year, but it's the first one we've seen.
Yeah.
So
I've only seen one this season, so that's
so we've got red-billed buffalo weaver, Lillian's lovebirds, and the Wattled starling, which is going away from us now. Yeah.
And flying away.
Flying away. So a bit of excitement for us.
I'm sure you've all noticed Gerard and I are quite keen on our birds, so whenever we see a new and different bird species, it's always nice to try and identify it to see who it could be.
And yes, the hippopods leave the main river because it's obviously fast flowing, and they need the right depth to. So they all come up these small rivers, and the main river really doesn't have that many hippos during the wet season.
Yeah,
there's a lot of these small rivers all over the place. And if you have a boat, you can actually explore quite a lot just using these small rivers, but dodging hippos the whole way.
It's quite interesting what you said there about what they need is the right depth. So
yeah.
If you ever see a hippo in water, it's standing. It's not swimming or treading water or just floating there. If you can see a hippo while in water, you can see its head or the back of a hippo, it means that you can judge how deep the water must be because it has to be able to stand. So they're not actually great swimmers. When hippos go underwater, they're standing on the bottom of the river, and how they move from one point of a water source to another point is they skip along the bottom of the dam of the water source. Imagine like a similar motion to how an astronaut would walk on the moon. It's that sort of motion, how they skip along the bottom of a water source till they can get to a shallow area and they can bounce back up to the top.
So you can say
quickly.
like human beings would be have a positive buoyancy, whereas the hippos are either negative or neutral. More likely to be a negative buoyancy, so they don't float. Right argument with that. Leave about that.
So we actually got quite a good scene now. It's actually picking up a little bit in terms of the life. We had a period of about 15 minutes where it was relatively quiet. But now we've got plenty of guinea fowls that are moving into the area. Some different bird species also popping down. Our local impala, which are always here. There's some baboons and the hippo. We'll see who else comes to join us this afternoon. But keep those questions coming in. Anything you guys would like to know, anything interesting that you've always wondered about, you can ask us. Not guaranteeing we'll know the answer, but hopefully between the two of us, we'll be able to give some insights and information.
And if the screen goes blank, we probably don't know. Owen is following the one female impala, as you can see, is quite heavily pregnant. And they're also not in top condition, the impala. You'll see a lot of them, you can see the ribs showing, which obviously indicates the food supply is lacking at the moment. Yeah, there you are. You can see that.
So we're almost getting to that time in the bush every year where it gets to such a dry point that you almost get the sense that the bush is just kind of holding its breath, waiting for the rains to arrive. I think we'll be there in about the next 2 weeks where all these animals are just going to be anticipating the first rains of the season to arrive. I've just posted the email address into the chat. If anyone wants to get hold of our reservations to find out about bookings or coming to stay with us or what we do and who we are, please feel free to drop us an email to find out more. Or you can visit our website at shentonsafaris.com or follow us on our Facebook page and Instagram to learn more.
Funny enough, Craig, I looked at the weather report this morning. For the next 10 days, we seem to be hot, hot, and hot. Although towards the end of next week, the clouds should be building up, which they tend to do right until the rains actually start. You get this build-up of cumulus, and then eventually it just pours out of the sky. It's actually quite spectacular to see the storms here with thunder and lightning.
It's nice to watch them at a distance, not so much when they're overhead.
I don't know, Rowan, if you can maybe pan over to the left. There's a lot of doves there near the hippos. Usually amount, yeah?
Hopefully these hippos start getting a bit more active now as it's cooling down. We might even get some yawning or some interaction between them.
There we are. You see all the doves just behind the hippos. Most of them are Cape turtle doves with a smattering of laughing doves. And as per yesterday, probably we'll see a red-eyed dove, which I haven't seen yet.
We're drinking a little bit further away today. I think the guinea fowl have taken over their usual drinking spot, so I've moved a bit off.
Yeah, it's just at the moment the two species of doves, the the Cape turtle dove and the laughing dove.
Don, we look forward to seeing you then. We'll be ready and waiting for you in September. And it's great that the photographic group is coming through. I'm sure they'll enjoy it. And tell me, Don, when have you been here before? When last were you at the camps?
We're in the sort of middle level. On our right-hand side, there's a lower level which is closer to the water, and then on our left-hand side is a higher one, which gives you an overall picture. So for photographers, it's just unbelievably good.
Oh, Don, I'm glad that you're finally coming through to Zambia, although you've been to Africa a few times before. Once you've been to Zambia, you'll return many, many times after that. So I'm sure you and your group will love it, and we're looking forward to having you guys and looking after you guys while we're here. I'm sure you'll have incredible sightings while you're with us and can make use of these hides. As soon as we get online with the webcam, or you can let your people know that are coming with the photographic group, they should start watching the webcam in anticipation for what they're going to see when they're at these hides. It's great being at home, and you can start getting ready for what you can possibly take photos of, start thinking of some shots. Yeah, Gail, we totally agree with you. South Luangwa, once you've been here, there's nowhere else to go, really. You just fall in love. It's South Luangwa is such a special place when it gets hold of you.
And Don, we have two hides. This one, actually, we have quite a few hides, but the two main ones is the last watering hole at Mwamba, and when the hippo hide at Kaingo camp. We also have a few, depending on the time of the year, mobile hides. So we try and cater for just about everybody. At the moment, we've also got two carmine bee-eater hides, which only really start in September.
So just in time for your visit, hopefully. We'll have them ready and waiting for when you get here.
September is perfect for the carmines. Yeah.
The mammals seem to have taken a break and let the birds take over. Maybe we'll have a few more come down. Well, Jane, that often happens. We're so glad that you do return all the time. You know how many people we've met over the years that say they trip to Africa, any country that they go to within Africa, that it's a bucket list item and it's something that they're only going to do once in their life. And the next year you see them again, and the year after that they visit again, because once that bug has bitten you, once you've been to Africa and that bug gets hold of you, you just want to keep returning and keep enjoying the spirits of Africa.
Jen, was it you who asked us about the terrapin? If it was you, on the chat.
Oh, at the hippo hide.
At the hippo hide, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I think it was Jen. Yeah. Maybe you can tell us about the terrapin. If we get here.
I know a little bit. So, okay, great. So, Jen, just going back to what you asked Gerard a while back when you were at the hippo hide about the terrapin. So, our terrapins are serrated hinge terrapin. Around the world, a lot of people call them freshwater turtles. That's not 100% the correct term. They are terrapins. So, terrapins are only freshwater, whereas your turtles are ocean dwelling. And some key differences, like a terrapin can't pull its head back into the shell like what a tortoise can do, for instance, who is a land dweller. When they have to pull their head back, it's usually to the side. But the hinged terrapin is able to actually pinch the shell shut at the back for protection. And their defense against predators is they just smell absolutely awful. So if a predator like a leopard or someone gets hold of them, they can urinate or secrete something just to become foul tasting that a predator would drop them quite quickly. So definitely, if you've seen some turtles, they're actually terrapins. And I've even seen them go up to hippos, and I've seen them go up to rhinos that are wallowing in water and actually eat the ticks off of larger mammals, which is quite interesting. So they are also carnivorous, trying to eat small insects and so on.
And Porto, you have the email address slightly above you. Nothing to lose by writing into them and asking. And Don, Craig is quite a keen photographer, so any of those questions I'll leave for Craig.
Now, Don, I think, two main types of guests that we get here would be your keen photographers. And we do cater for photographers in many ways, like the photographic hides, as well as our vehicles are equipped for photography purposes. We have things like bean bags and dust covers and camera clamps that are on the vehicles, as well as all of our guides are photographically trained, that they know where to park the vehicle, where the best angle is, and taking sun into consideration and light, which is very important for photography. So there's certainly that aspect, so you can't go wrong on that one. And I think our other type of clientele that we get here are just really avid nature lovers, which I'm sure is most of the people that are watching this live feed at the moment, just really enjoying nature and getting up close and personal with what's going on here.
And Don, about honey badgers, the perfect person is sitting on my left because he has a lot of trouble with honey badgers at Mwamba. So I must definitely ask him to speak to you.
Yeah, Don, so honey badger, I think when going on safari, you can never 100% guarantee any animal. Maybe you can guarantee impala, that's about it. So everything else is, it just depends what nature is going to give you. We are very lucky in the area that we have regular sightings of honey badger. Often within this camp at Mwamba, we have a few honey badgers that come into the camp at nighttime, and they're kind of like how an American raccoon would be. They scavenge around looking to see if any food has been left lying around for them, or if they can get into a dustbin or two. So the opportunity to photograph them, quite possibly, you never know. Driving around, they are in the area. We do have regular sightings of them. So hopefully luck is on your side when you come here, and you'll be able to get a glimpse of them.
And Arthur, yes, the tall black and white wading bird. It could be quite a few things, but I would go for a saddle-billed stork. Even if you look on the internet, you probably see it. And if it is the right one, please tell us. And we have the size is the problem now. But we have to. But I think saddle-billed stork would be the answer there. Would you have seen them here?
Yeah, if it was at this height, we did have a saddle-bill here last week.
Okay.
If you're referring to the webcam and at this height, Arthur, then most probably a saddle-bill stork. They have yellow and red beaks and a big black and white stork bird.
And very tall.
Very tall, yeah.
Bird. Certainly one of the guest favorites. It's 5:20 here, so we've probably got at the very latest 1 hour's left of light, and good light, just 40 minutes.
Hopefully our internet. Oh, great! So some elephants coming down. Again.
This is a nice bull elephant. This one, yeah, lovely.
So we've been waiting quite patiently to see for some more mammals. And here you'll definitely be able to notice the considerable size difference between this elephant and the other females that were here in the earlier broadcast that we did. This is just lovely. This big bull.
You just
coming
look at
down.
his forehead, a nice rounded forehead.
All the birds flying away. He's definitely come down and announced himself. Everyone's just quickly backing away from the water, making sure that they don't get in this guy's way.
And Arthur, great. At least we were right for once. That beautiful bull elephant. Really is.
If he comes closer. No, just sampling the water there. Not too happy with that particular water. Going to look for a different spot. Let's see how close he comes to us. We might have to drop our voices and start whispering if he gets a bit closer.
Yeah,
And,
I think we'll just watch a little bit and let him enjoy his water.
We can only zoom out the camera that far, so we might have to focus on some close-up details of this elephant. Yeah, he's really close at the moment, right here. Just dust bathing a little bit. Hopefully he comes down to the water now. So I think you can see how close this elephant is now. We're completely zoomed out with the camera. Yeah, so this elephant is being very picky. He's walking up and down the watering hole and just picking up a little bit of water here and there, sampling it. And elephants are known to be quite particular about water, but this guy's taking it to a whole new level.
Doesn't like that either.
And okay, there's the second sip. Hopefully he's found what he's looking for. Craig, absolutely, it doesn't get any better than this. And being in the hide just adds a whole new element to it, you know? You're right up and close with these animals in their territory. It's amazing.
And literally, as you said, eye to eye. He's not drinking that much, though.
We're quickly going to move over to a bird of prey up in the tree just before it flies away, and we'll come back to the elephant shortly. Just want to show you guys one of our lovely birds that we have. And we just can't see him.
It's there.
It's an African fish eagle. There are some banded mongoose, however, on the bank. We'll try and get them quickly, and then we'll go back to the elephant now. Just give us a moment. If we really...
I would imagine this guy is 40, 50 years old. Eh?
Yeah,
he's not a youngster at all.
Yeah, definitely.
All by himself. Yeah.
I definitely agree with about 40.
Yeah, and he's weight? 3 tons, 4 tons?
3 tons. I
Yeah.
think at the largest, the bull elephant, when they're really, really big, they can approach 6 tons in weight.
Yes, we're hearing the slurp all the time. Bad manners on the elephant's part.
Rowan was able just to quickly capture a banded mongoose family, and now we're coming back to this elephant who's coming really close to where we are now.
We're going to keep quiet for a bit.
Yeah, we'll just keep quiet for a moment. Thanks. Also, to answer your question, definitely these older elephants are much, much more stronger than the younger bulls. The younger bulls aren't ready, they can't contend with these old males. And Rowan's doing a great job getting some excellent pictures
shots,
here.
yeah.
So we're probably about 5 meters away from this elephant at the moment.
Definitely in his prime. I wonder why he doesn't sneeze when he puts all the dust in his trunk.
You can see how he's just resting his trunk there for a moment. You can imagine trying to carry this huge appendage off the front of your face all day long. It can get quite heavy, so they do rest them from time to time on the ground or on logs or whatever they can. And this dust bathing is just a form of cleaning, throwing the dust out of the body, hopefully irritating any parasites that might be on the skin.
Do the elephants come actually into the water? Okay.
The smaller ones do, and sometimes these big bull elephants, if they're in the mood, they might wade right through the middle of this water. But the older females, they don't seem to like to do it that much. Definitely, Sheila, we totally agree with you. So we're looking at the largest land mammal in the world right here in front of us. Absolutely incredible.
And he's putting on a show for us. Right in front of us. So he's got relatively small tusks, which is characteristics of our elephants in Rwanda now. I think all the big ones have been shot out and poached in the 70s. 1970 was a very bad year, the 70s.
It's nice to see that this guy has tusks at all.
So the exit stage left. Now there is hunting in special areas called GMAs, which is called stands for Game Management Area. They tend to be on the outside of the parks, and it's all strictly controlled, licensed. Well, nothing more I could really say about it. They aren't allowed to shoot elephants. That's not on license. But that could change one day. That's another beautiful shot of the elephant. Now, Craig, do you recognize this guy at all? I mean, you've been here so many times. I mean, you live here, basically.
Yeah, I live here. No, not particularly. It's quite hard. If he had a better distinguishing feature, I mean, the one thing I do notice on him is his one tusk is a little bit shorter than the other.
Yeah.
He is solitary, so possibly he's been here before with other elephants, and that's why I don't recognize him now. But sometimes with the big bulls, unless they've got a really good characteristic, it's hard to pick them out.
Like a hole in the ear or something like that.
Hole in the ear or a broken tusk or something like that. It's easy.
Like that.
A good question coming through. When is must for elephants? There's no particular season. It's not like a certain time of year. It all just has to do with the mating of the elephants and so on. So must, for those of you who don't know, must is basically a level of heightened testosterone that male elephants go through. And it's when they approach their season, when they want to start mating. Basically, they have a huge influx of the hormone testosterone in their body. And they're known to become very, very temperamental during that time. You need to give them their space, and they're a little bit agitated and so on. They start losing huge amounts of water, and they get a little bit frustrated. They're looking for females. They're looking for water. It becomes quite tough for them. So there isn't a particular time of the year that we can say this is the must now. Generally, when there's more water around, you'll see elephants in must. But it can happen whenever. It's just hormonal things that the male elephant will go through.
And Don, I've never been to a game park where there's been a 6-month off and on hunting, but certainly within Zambia, there's no hunting allowed in any of the national parks. So any hunting would be on the peripheries in special designated areas.
Yeah, Don, I've never even heard of 6 months on and 6 months off. I don't think that would be a very successful model, because I can just imagine all the animals being so scared of human, they wouldn't want to be anywhere close to humans. So that's quite an interesting thing. If the Rowan's doing a great job catching a beautiful reflection of this elephant in the water.
I hadn't noticed that, Rowan.
And actually a bit of a sunset from the water.
Yeah.
We can't get the angle of the sunset, but we can get some lovely colors there with this elephant now. Don, South Africa, so South Africa is a bit more prominent for hunting in certain areas.
Would that not be in a like a private game reserve?
It will be private. So all hunting that's conducted in South Africa will be private. Basically on private land. You won't get that happening in national parks as well.
We do have private farms in Zambia where they allow, the farmers themselves they breed the animals for hunting, but those are very small and not big at all.
Obviously, something we don't support at all. That's why we're in the national park. So we just enjoy watching animals be free and doing their thing. And if there are any hunters watching, you're more than welcome to put your rifles down and come visit us and come see what wildlife is all about without disturbing nature.
Yeah, look at that photograph.
Lovely. Yeah. And you've got these Cape turtle doves flying all around, and beautiful.
I'm sure you should be able to hear the flapping of wings in the audio.
Kingfisher?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a brown hooded kingfisher that's calling directly above us. Maybe we'll be lucky to see it, but it's one of the insect-eating kingfishers, so it won't actually be diving into the water as such, but we might see it if we're lucky.
Yeah, with cameras here, we do a lot of shooting. You can hear him slurping as well, the elephant. He's taking his time drinking. There's no hurry. And as I said that, it looks like he's going. No.
So the light is fading quite quickly. We'll see how much longer that we can do the broadcast for. Not too sure if anything else will come down. It is getting quite late. Maybe finally Gerard will get to see his double-banded sandgrass and he'll be very happy. So we'll stay with you guys a bit longer just to see how the light is. Hopefully we don't get disconnected, but if we do, please follow us on our Facebook pages, and we'll keep you updated as to when you can expect the next live stream. I'm really hoping that we'll have either Sylvester or Patrick or one of our guides joining us next time, and they'll be able to share a lot of stories with us about this area. Having grown up here their whole lives, they probably know a bit more about these animals than what we do. Probably a lot more.
And, I'm sure they do. Well, they like the leopards. They know individually where they'll be, what time of day they will be there. It's actually quite good to go with one of our guides. Their eyes are fantastic. I just wonder how they see animals sometimes.
So good question now, asking how many other safari groups are there in the national park and how far do your guided groups travel in a day? So there are quite a few tour operators within the park, but where we are in the park, we're basically very isolated. So we're not close to the main gate, which is close to a small town called Mfui. We're about 2 to 2.5 hours north of that. So we're one of the furthest northern camps within South Luangwa. So our area is very isolated. It's pretty much just us up here. Down towards the main gate, you will get a lot of other tour operators. It can be a little bit congested down that side of the park. So we are really blessed and lucky to have this little piece of heaven all to ourselves up here. And how far do we go? Well, it's a national park. Technically, we can go wherever we can. As long as we have enough petrol, we can drive anywhere we want in the day. No worries. However, our own personal area of operation is just so dense with wildlife that our guides don't have to travel immense distances to see game.
10 kilometers?
10 kilometers at the most.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to see a huge amount of game. A long drive might be 20 kilometers, but that's spread out over 3 or 4 hours at a time. So our game drives are done really slowly. You're driving along slowly, keeping your eyes open, seeing what you can see. And just seeing what you can come across. We don't travel massive distances, but if you did want to go a bit further, we can make plans for that. But really, you wouldn't have to see wildlife. We're probably the most game-rich area within South Luangwa, in my opinion.
Now the elephant, you can see, I think he's having a little kip, a little small sleep.
Yeah, just
Cat
snoozing
nap.
a bit.
Yeah.
Well, quite interesting with these elephants. They're active for about 20 hours a day, feeding and doing their thing. The other 4 hours is spent resting.